Hello. This is maybe the first time you're seeing me. Maybe it's the 100th time you're seeing me, but this is just a kind of introductory video into the channel and kind of, you know, a light interview, you could say. So I'm just gonna answer some questions you folks might have about me and what I'm doing here. So let's just get into it. My name is Gabriel, and I go to college in Southern California. And so, um, yeah, I've lived here for quite a while, and it's pretty nice. The climate's quite a bit more temperate. I've definitely heard a lot of YouTubers complaining about freezing temperatures outside and the sleet and the rain, and so this is a pretty idyllic life. Um, but even if you live in terrible cold places, it shouldn't stop you from getting outside. So um, that's just my view on that. But uh, let's go into the next one. What got me into the hobby? So it's actually a pretty strange coincidence. So what happened was I was just going. I was in middle school. I was in one of my classes, and someone had this book, and it was army for Warhammer 40,000, and it was Necrons, and so I was a little confused. I was like, "What is this?" So there's lore inside here. There's rules. I wasn't really sure exactly what the whole thing was, and so I found YouTube videos and I watched battle reports, and then I saw there's a game. There was this game store, and so I looked it up, and I was like, oh, they have these little figurines. That's pretty wild. And I was like, oh, $40 for five people. Maybe I'll buy one of them in my life. And so I kind of just followed along with it a little bit, but I really didn't do much with it. And I felt this was actually a really cool hobby because even as a little kid, I would use these little pieces I had and I would kind of war game with them. And so I was like, this is just so bizarre that there's so many people. It's kind of strange to me that I had such a desire to do it even when I had no idea there was a whole hobby and community behind it. And so that led me to getting a Necron starter set, and then I got a Necron army. And so I've been collecting miniatures. I got D&D miniatures. I got all kinds of things. And I've learned some fun stuff. Like my dad used to paint miniatures because he had this a Dungeons and Dragons set, and there were a bunch of little lead models. They were really small, and of course they're made out of lead because it was way back in the day. But it really surprised me. I was like, there's a whole history to it and all that. And so it's kind of crazy how much it's been in my life, and I'm just kind of getting into the hobby stuff now. So that's kind of the funny way I got into it. And so um the the reason I got into painting was because you know at first I was like, oh, I can't do anything difficult, and so I'd look at the different stuff, and that's why I chose Necrons as my first army, not just because that's the first thing I saw, but because I was like, oh, it's just metal and just a few dots and stuff. Oh, I don't want to do something like Eldar because I saw there's like opals and stuff, and I didn't want to do the reflective gems. I was like, oh, that's too much work. And now I've kind of switched it around, and I've said like, why can't I do the more challenging stuff and trying to push those boundaries. And so I've kind of changed some stuff around and made my perspective from kind of going the easiest and more hobby wise and less into the hobby and more into the painting. And that's partly because, um, it's, I had a really great community for hobbying that I didn't really get into for wargaming because I was just starting out and I was learning, oh, there's this weekly thing, and I was interested in it, but by the time I really got going, I moved somewhere else and there's like nothing here. And so that isolation kind of made me change my focus to get that hobby done. So the next one is what am I going to focus for on the future for the channel. So maybe you've seen some of my earlier videos. They're really bad. I look back, they're pretty bad. The lighting is a little funky at times. The advice I'm giving is like, it's something, but I would recommend you dislike those videos. Give them lots of nasty comments because I'm not they did not come out good. And I don't know if I should take them down, because if someone watches that, then they'll say this person has no idea what they're talking about. I have to leave the channel. But it's just, I think it's a lot of self-criticism. I don't think they're as terrible as that, but in a way I still kind of do. So take that for what you will. Um so what I'm going to do is kind of change the focus, where instead of doing unit by unit, where I'll do, oh, I'm going to do the Starks, I'm going to do the Lannisters, I'd rather focus on the color schemes and how to achieve those colors. And so part of my practice as a painter is not to have 400 paints. I see the collections and I'm just like, just disgusted by it, because, of course we're not, canvas painters, but you don't need that many colors. If you're gonna do a Space Wolf army, fine, buy the Space Wolf main armor, but you don't need to buy the highlight color. You don't need to buy the specific shadow color. You can use a few metals, a few basic primary, secondary, tertiary colors, and that's all you'll ever need. I'm not gonna buy a special blue turquoise for the Tullys. Instead, I'm going to, do my best to replicate it in large batches and just paint that, because in the end, it's not always going to look perfectly alike, and you don't really need it to be. And so that's part of what I want to teach is, yes, you can go into technique, you can go into the scheme, but also try and do other stuff that'll help you out, because if you're just going to be painting on end and end, and you're not feeling like you're doing better, or you're not feeling like, you're achieving more, then I'm trying to help you with that. And I feel like part of that is just being, helping you out, getting a good segue, because I'm not too far into the process. I'm not, a master painter. I haven't won any awards. You don't need to win awards, to show you're a good painter, but I'm trying to get along there. I'm trying to master non-metallic metal, trying to get the colors right, the contrast right, the skin tones really looking good. And so that takes time to develop. And if you don't really want to achieve that, then I want to help you at least get a step ahead. And the thing is, if you keep taking those little steps ahead, you're going to be quite a bit of ways and you won't even realize it. You're going to go from just getting very neat, basic models to something that will really impress people, because you've made it much easier and faster over the time just by simply doing it. And so that's something I want to encourage. And also just, being more aware of painting, right? Because, one of the biggest companies is Games Workshop. And what they do is they say, oh, we have every paint you need to, paint your miniature. So you're going to need Agrax Earthshade. You're going to need Abaddon Black, or Abaddon Black, however you want to say it. You're going to need the Screamer Pink, and this one, and this one, and this one. And so you buy basically their entire range of paints, when you need white to make it lighter, a bright yellow to make it lighter. You could do a deep red or a deep brown to make it darker. You just need a few colors. You don't need these very specific tones, because, if you want to, you could make it look like the box art, but, you can, if you want to individualize it, then you don't have to use their colors. And the thing is, if you want to make it look like the box art, just mix the paint so it looks the same, and you don't have to use all their very specific paints to do that. And so I feel like just becoming a smarter and more independent painter will help you in the long term. And, you don't have to go and reach for awards, but, I think we should go for it. Maybe not painting awards, but just try and impress yourself and make you look at a miniature and say, wow, that looks really good. And then a year you can say, wow, that looks really bad because I've improved. So I think that's the lesson we want to take away here is, developing that, not only your ability to criticize, but your ability to make something that's greater so you have less to criticize about it. And I think that's exciting, and I think that's what everyone wants to see is everyone wants to see better painted minis. I don't know anyone who thinks, we need to see ugly, ugly things everywhere. Okay, so that's going to be some of my earliest stuff is new paint schemes. Well, not new paint schemes, but, paint scheme ideas, and of course, the basic techniques to make something look good, and they're really simple, but all you have to do is keep that in mind and practice them, and then you'll have no problems. So it's kind of as simple as that, which is maybe a poor way of trying to, I don't know, motivate someone, but it is a lot of work, and it's not a lot of work at the same time. But I mean, I'm just yibber-rabbering now. So for me, I'll let you into what I feel I have some weaknesses in. I feel like I can be inconsistent with skin. Sometimes it could come out really well, and sometimes it's a little freakish, and it's unintentional, and that's part of what I want to do is make things, intentionally good, so it's not like, oh, look at this, I put some washes on and paints on it, oh, it looks so good, I want to be able to know why I did it and how I did it and all that wonderful stuff. So that's really one of the key things, as well as, do you know what you're doing? And right now, I have a handle on it, but I want to get to that really exciting stuff and create my own style. And you know what? I think I want to do some weird stuff. I mean, the thing about miniature painting is the boundaries feel very confined, as in you have very high contrast, which makes sense because of how small the models are, but it's always either like stylized, realistic, something along those lines. There's never something that's completely out there. So it's like seeing like photorealism, and this is like classical painting, where you have something that looks like an image of reality. You have, impressionism, you have post-impressionism, that sort of thing. And so, you have like maybe this small section of art, but where's the abstract miniature painting, where it's done tastefully and it's bizarre and unique and interesting, and I think we need to see more of that. And what I want to work on is a personal style that kind of pushes those boundaries. And of course, I'm not good enough to be, called a master. I'm not good enough to be called some kind of, kind of boundary breaker yet. But that's what I'm trying to do is get those fundamentals down and see what makes everyone so excited and what people think is the best of the best, and then change that direction, and I think there is a lot more exploration. I think the community's growing, but why not do it a different way? It could hurt if I make some bizarre creation and it wins a tournament, everyone says no one in this hobby knows anything what they're doing about this, is a waste of time, then I apologize in advance. But why not? And any fun facts? Well, I don't know if there's anything fun about me. That's what everyone says, of course. But see, I like science fiction and fantasy. I mean, that's why we're all here, I suppose. There's also historical. Well, I'm into history as well. I have a bunch of books I've read and still need to read, and so those are always good fun. Um, I like, I don't know. I like classical music. I like heavy metal. I like classic rock, hip hop. That's some good stuff. So, I don't know. I I have a I feel like I like the best of almost every musical genre, and I can like a good mystery book. What else is there? Hmm. I like I like a lot of things. What can I say? Good food. Here's some more fun stuff. Well, I'm trying to be a better cook. It's kind of coming there. I like baking. Made some delicious lemon poppy muffins recently. Pretty good. Um, hmm. I I mean everyone prefers House Stark. Most people's favorite characters is Tyrion, but I kind of relate to him in my own way because I used to be, I don't know. I maybe it's just me, but I felt like the odd one out, you know? But I think that was just because I like to recede into my thoughts a lot, and so the world doesn't feel as tangible sometimes, which is, I don't know, kind of funny, but I like 3D printing. I do that in my spare time with this, and so I 3D print something, I paint it. I should do more of that stuff on the channel because I didn't talk about it that much. I did in a basic video, but that would be good. Um, I can showcase minis and stuff and how that's coming along. I think it's also helpful that I'm not using resin. I just have a FDM, so that's the plastic nozzle going on the bed like that instead of lasers and resin. So you can see kind of it's possible and that sort of thing. So yeah, I use not I've changed my water cups. I feel like bigger ones are handier just because um you have a little paint on the brush and you mix into the water and it can get like too dark too quickly from the pigment. So it's nice to have something, a larger body of water to dilute it. And hmm, what else is there? I have to paint the Iron Throne. Oh, that's a video I have to do where I figure out what the heck is gonna what the heck you're gonna do, because you can't just put metal and just go shh and then say okay it's gonna be all blackened now, because that is really dull. Maybe I'll do some object source lighting. Well, I don't think people would be a fan of that. Do the whole thing in non-metallic metal. You have to blend every sword. I would I would lose my mind over the course of the 6 months that would take to do it. So it's kind of coming into my brain that like all this stuff is gonna be uploaded on YouTube, right? But if I let you into a little secret, I guess this is another fun fact. I always kind of felt like, I was on the spot, but the thing is, I could just do another take. I could just stop the recording and kind of just like walk away and take a breather. And so, you know, it didn't really occur to me that I could do that. And so it'd be going like, "Oh my goodness, I have to get this done." And it'd be very wouldn't be nerve-wracking, but there'd be tension in my voice. There'd be kind of like tension in my speaking, like trying to get things across, and it would kind of fluster me. And you know, I mean, I think it still does a little bit, but I realize you kind of have to just like relax in front of the camera. And you know, I mean, I would feel like that when I was doing just the voiceover alone starting out. So yeah, and I apologize for those terrible, terrible voices. The whole like, oh, where's the Balrog? And I'm making jokes about how I got these clippers for cheap, and I'm doing it in a funny Gandalf voice or whatever. That was just embarrassing. But you know what? YouTube is the place to be embarrassed on. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, so I think that kind of wraps it up. I mean, if you have more questions, maybe I'll do a part two, because I know I'm growing in subscribers. I'm going to be a star soon, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I wonder if you guys stayed till the end. That would be funny. If anyone stayed till the end, let me know, and I'll give you a thumbs up. And they have that. What I really like is that YouTube made the change where if the creator gives it a thumbs up, everyone can see it. So you'll get a thumbs up if you say you watch to the end, but you have to prove it, because I'm gonna say at this very moment that the password to knowing to the end is QBC. So if you put QBC and you put in all caps in your comment, um, then you'll get the thing. Wait, wait. If you put it in the comment, then everyone else will know. Then they can just copy it. Then everyone will know the secret.